During today's training, we're going to talk about some hidden benefits of using business credit as a way to really fund your business, not just business credit, but business credit cards in general. There's so many benefits, including the fact that they're way easier to get than almost every kind of loan and credit line. And a lot of things you're not even realizing that they can actually help you with. So by the end of this training, you're going to know a lot of reasons why you really want to consider using business credit cards to fund the majority of what you need in your business, and how easy it is to get this kind of funding versus other kind of financing, including loans and credit lines. Before we jump in, I want to remind you of our 100% free challenge that's taking place at the end of September, September 26th through the 30th. It's the Business Loan Broker Challenge, and this is all about every single thing you need to succeed with starting and growing a business loan brokerage company. So I don't care if you're just thinking about offering financing and credit as a secondary service, if you're thinking about getting into a whole new career, or if you're already a loan broker and you just want to find out how to do it more, how to make more money in what you do, this challenge is for you. You're going to learn everything you need to know to launch and scale a loan brokerage company. We'll even have the lenders there to be able to get you signed up where you can actually get deals. Our goal is for you to get 3 of your first deals done the first week of the challenge, and you're going to get everything you need during this week to be able to do so. It's 100% free. So check it out. You can go to businessloanbrokerchallenge.com and get signed up, get enrolled. So what are we going to cover today? We're going to cover a lot of things that you might not know about business credit cards and how useful they can be to help you fund your business. So we're going to talk about the impact on personal credit, and we're going to talk about how to prevent damaging your personal credit while trying to fund your business. We're going to talk about fraudulent activity and what happens with all the fraud that's out there, and how business credit cards can help you avoid having a lot of the money taken out of your bank account that happens with a lot of fraud that actually takes place in businesses. We're going to talk about ways you can actually improve your cash flow and get more rewards using business credit cards. We're also going to talk about how you can get this and do this without personal liability. So many business owners want to be able to avoid personal guarantees, and this is a great, one of the easiest ways to get around personal guarantees. I want to decode that for you as well. And we're also going to talk about how you can get as many as 5 business credit cards in one application. I mean, how can you get like $150,000 in funding to launch your business or grow your business? Do it at 0%, all with just one application. We're going to be diving in and we're going to be decoding that as well. So look, business credit cards are one of the best tools you're ever going to find to run your business and to run your business finances. And here's why. They're easier to get than loans and credit lines. It's one of the easiest ways that you can get money to fund a business. And here's why it's one of the easiest ways. First of all, they're unsecured. You don't need collateral. If you're going to go get an SBA loan, I was just on a podcast interviewed earlier this morning, and the host is like, well, hey, what about go to your bank, go to your credit union? I'm like, that's the last place you want to be, because they're going to require that you have some kind of collateral, and newer stage businesses don't have that. So first of all, with business credit cards, you don't need to do that. They're unsecured. There's no collateral. There's also no cash flow verification. That host asked that same question. Is it possible to get financing with no cash flow of the business? Yes, business credit cards are the way to do it. You don't have to verify cash flow, bank statements, tax returns, P&Ls, balance sheets. None of that is needed. So even if you're a startup, don't have cash flow to verify, you're still able to come in here and successfully get business credit cards, and you get what you need when you need it. You have affordable payments, as well as the fact that you don't need to have good credit either. You can actually get business credit cards no matter how bad your personal credit is, with no impact on your personal credit. And this really gives you the ability to fund business. And that's the whole purpose. Business credit cards help your business fund itself. They account for about 85% of whatever you're going to need fund your business. It's not going to get you all the way there, but it's good. And this is the smartest way to get capital. You focus your time and energy on getting loans and credit lines for the stuff you can't use business credit cards for. And business credit cards, including retail credit, vendor credit, this kind of credit will get you 90% of what you need without relying on loans and credit lines. So by the way, speaking of business and business credit cards, tell me where you're coming in from. I always love giving you a shout out. So give me a shout out with your business name and tell me what state and city you're in, and I'll say a quick hello. So the challenge sounds dope. It hopefully will be very. This is our second successful challenge. The first challenge, we had thousands of people come through, learn how to be business loan brokers, and a lot of them are out there right now building 7-figure plus businesses in the industry. So we're looking forward to that same success, and I'm looking forward to everybody joining us. Blessed day to you, Luis. I appreciate you coming in. Donald, I need this. Well, good. We're going to be decoding it in about 30 minutes. You're going to have everything you need to know. Dallas is in the house. V and Andre from Virginia is in the house as well. I was just up by you speaking at Washington, D.C. this week to a great bunch of people for the actual minority development division of the government. So I really look forward to seeing Virginia again and being up your way. And Xeon Luxury Spa in Palm Desert, California. Jared, thanks for coming in. Ashell Truck, we outlines from North Carolina and Houston, Texas is in the house. Demore Catering and Donald giving us a shout out from Demore Catering in Houston. Thanks everybody for saying hello. So another thing that you need to know about business credit cards is they're flexible. You don't have to verify your income. You don't have to have assets, as I said. You don't have to have time in business requirements, high risk industries, all this stuff that frustrates us because it gets us denied for loans and credit lines. None of that stuff matters. You're able to get business credit cards and none of this stuff even matters. Plus business credit cards are accepted just about everywhere, and give employees access to make it easier to run your business as well when you can put them on there as authorized users. So let's decode this. Impact on personal credit. This affects you two different ways. First of all, if you have challenged credit, congratulations, you're an entrepreneur. As entrepreneurs, we're risk takers. Our credit typically reflects that. In the beginning stages of our business, it's very common for us to have banged up credit because our credit reflects the risks that we take. What's nice about business credit is it has no impact on personal credit. You can get it no matter how bad your credit may be on the consumer side. But even if you have good consumer credit, it's even more important because what happens is the majority of business owners use personal credit cards to fund a business. And that's a big no-no because 30% of your credit score is based on utilization. So as a consumer, 30% of your FICO score is based on utilization. Let's think about this. 35% of your consumer FICO score is your payment history, how you pay your bills. 30% is utilization, what percentage of your credit card limits you're using. That's telling us mathematically, FICO's saying that by keeping high balances on credit cards, it hurts your credit almost as bad as paying your bills late. That's a big deal. That's how much of an impact utilization has on your consumer FICO score. So we want to avoid using those credit cards to fund a business. We want to avoid using business credit cards that report on our consumer credit reports. So we've got credit cards like Capital One Spark. That's a business credit card that reports on the consumer credit report. So every time we use that for our business, it damages our personal credit. We want to avoid that. The other problem was inquiries. Later, I'm going to talk to you about a funding program. You can get up to $150,000 in funding using credit lines and credit cards. But here's what's interesting. Even one inquiry can cost you $25,000 of that funding. It's a big deal. Inquiries are a really big deal. And that's why you need to minimize inquiries on your consumer credit report. Now, there's going to be loans and credit lines you're going to need a personal credit pull for, but you don't need it for business credit. So when you're using business credit cards to fund your business, you avoid inquiries, you avoid putting business expenses on consumer credit cards, which lower your consumer credit scores, and it gives you time to actually work on continuing to improve your personal credit while your business isn't damaging your personal credit. And that's because a lot of the business credit cards report on the business credit reports, giving your business the ability to fund itself. That's what matters. If you use a consumer credit card, a personal credit card to fund a business, then it's not helping you get future funding for your business. It's actually hurting your ability. But if I use a business credit card to fund the business, I'm building a business credit profile that makes it way easier to get approved for loans, credit lines, other kind of financing, and get that money at better terms. So we might as well as use business credit cards, which help our business get funding, than consumer credit cards, which actually damage our ability to be able to get funding. Oakland, California is in the house. Curtis from Chicago is in the house. I got my first business credit card 4 months ago. So DIY Wellness. Thanks. Congratulations. And we've got Physical Connection Unlimited Express LLC is in the house. Hey, thanks for giving us a shout out. Michael Lang. Hey, what's going on? Thanks everybody for saying hello. Tell me if you haven't already where you're coming in from, your business name, and I'll give you a shout out here on the live stream. I mean, nothing hurts, but free exposure is not going to hurt anybody, right? So give me a shout out. Tell me where you're from and your business name, and I'll give you a shout out here on the stream. So impact on personal credit. Balances do not affect your personal debt to income ratio, and that's a big deal. So when when you're trying on an individual basis to be able to buy a house, buy a car, be able to get other credit cards, then your business debts on your business credit reports means that it doesn't affect your debt to income ratio on the consumer side. So it doesn't adversely affect your ability to use your consumer credit for what it's supposed to be for, like to support your personal life, to get home loans and buy investment properties or apartment complexes or whatever else you want to use your consumer credit for. And a lot of business credit, and we were talking about business credit cards, actually improve your business credit scores. We talked about it. It actually improves the overall fundability of your business. So another thing reason you want to use business credit cards is because it helps you fight against fraudulent activity. Look, fraud is rampant. I mean, it's now estimated that nearly half or more of applications that a bank processes aren't even legit. They're fraudulent. So what's happening is that when you're using a debit card, for example, to pay for things, then it's easy for a fraudster to be able to come in and clean that bank account out. And even if your bank will report the funds, it does not happen quickly. Okay, there's a process to get that money back in your account. But business credit cards give you some limited amount of protection because it's setting a barrier between you and what's in the business bank account. They can hit the card for all that they want, but then you just basically dispute it with a credit card issuer. You can get that money back, and it doesn't easily affect or adversely affect what's actually in your business bank account. So you should never use debit cards, okay? The first time my business credit card ever got hacked and I realized that, I no longer use my debit card. I, like a lot of business owners, used to use that primary card. But once I realized that one fraudster gets access to that, inadvertently card skimmer so many different ways, then what happens is they have the ability to literally clean out my business bank account. And it's the last time I ever used a debit card. Now I use business credit cards in large part because of the protection that it actually gives me in these kind of fraud cases. Very important if it's lost or stolen. I don't know about you, but I actually just had a business lunch, and I had a lunch over at a place last week. I left my business credit card. I do it all the time. I hate to say it. I don't know what my problem is. I even have a system. My system is that when I get the bill back, I take the card, I put the card in my wallet, then I actually fill out the tip and stuff like that and sign the receipt. But even once in a while, I still mess that system up, and I still leave my business credit card places. Maybe you can relate to that. And you do that, at least you have a limited layer of protection. I can go right on my app, shut off the card. It can no longer be used until I get it back. And then in one button, I can have access to the card again. So it's really big for fraud protection, a big consideration. It also helps you improve on cash flow. And what I mean by that is that you don't have to take money out of your bank that you don't need to take money out of your bank. So this was telltale for us with COVID. When COVID hit, nobody knew what was going to happen, right? We were all unsure. So we immediately started using business credit cards to fund the business, to keep the money that we had in the bank until we figured out what was going on. And then once we kind of made sure everything was stable, then we actually started paying off those business credit cards without accruing any interest, because we did it within the period before interest accrues. So the nice thing is that when you're actually using business credit, you're giving yourself time to pay that expense back versus just take the money out of your bank account. And that allows for flexibility. It allows for you to have more cash on hand when you need cash on hand, and that helps you take advantage of opportunities. Okay, I read once, and I love this, and stay with me for a decade plus, that, success happens when opportunity meets preparation. You got to be prepared. If you're prepared and the opportunity presents itself, that's when winners win. But if you're not prepared, then you miss all those opportunities. And the best way to be prepared is always have as much cash on hand as possible, especially when the economy shifts. Because when the economy shifts, people start fire sales of their business, for example, and you have an opportunity to get all kinds of acquisitions, and you might acquire a company that doubles or quadruples your business overnight just because of that one acquisition. But you can't do that without cash. And this is why we want to make sure that we have good cash flow management by paying expenses on business credit cards. Then we could decide whether we want to pay it off before interest accrues, or we want to keep the money on the credit card and use the cash that's in there in our bank account that we would have used to pay off the credit card for other reasons that are more beneficial, right? If I could take advantage of something that's going to give me a 10 or 20% return, mind paying 8% interest on the credit card there, but I can only do this if I have the option. And the only way I have the option is if I use a business credit card. Think about that. If you take money out of your bank or you use a debit card, you no longer have the option. The money is out of your bank. But if I put it on a credit card, then I still have the option of taking the money out of the bank to pay it or not. but I only have that option if I'm using business credit cards to actually pay the expenses and not relying on money coming out of the debit card. Plus, you also have revolving credit limits, right? So this gives employees access to the card. So maybe you own a transportation company, you got drivers out on the road. You can use business credit cards and put one in their name so they can use that to be out there to fuel the truck. There's a lot of different applications, but a lot of us have a need for people in our team to actually have access to a credit card they can use. We do. We do a lot of events all over the country. Sometimes I'm not at that event, and the person that's at that event's got to pay for food. They got to pay for stuff for the booth. They got to get a TV for the booth. And we don't want to use their personal credit card and then have to wait weeks to get paid back. Instead, they could just use a business credit card that we have actually authorized to them. And it makes it easy for expense reporting, easy for taxes, easy for accounting, whether you're doing your own bookkeeping or somebody else. It makes it really simple when you're using business credit cards because you're separating the accounting. Basically, the only thing that's on that business credit card is business expenses. So it makes it very simple. Now, you might not appreciate this unless you've ever been audited. I don't know how many people in here have been audited. I have. It's not pleasant. And that's about the last time you ever commingle expenses. And you clearly understand the reason that you want to have business credit cards that only account for business expenses, because literally every single thing you write off, you have to provide a receipt for and where the money came from, the credit card statement, the bank account statement. And so it's really simple. If you have a business credit cards that are paying all your expenses and that ever does happen, you just produce the business credit card statements and everything you need is there versus having to go back and use personal cards and show what was personal and business. It really gets to be a mess. Plus, cash advances are available for a lot of business credit cards. So if you need access to extra cash, the more you're building your business credit, the higher your limits get, the more cash you have available that you can actually pull out of those credit cards for many different reasons. For example, we'll talk about a funding product a little bit later where you can get up to $150,000 in funding, no doc. And that's really popular for real estate investors. They take the cash out of those cards at 0% and use it to acquire property. Now they're acquiring property at 0%. They're using vendor business credit cards to pay for all the rehab on the property. And they're able to literally flip the property, keep all the profit. And instead of a hard money loan that they could have used to buy the property, they bought the entire thing at 0%. That's just one example of how you can use cash advances wisely on these cards to actually be able to come in and further grow your business. And hello from NJ Spiffy Cleaning Professional LLC. I love that. Maybe out of New Jersey. I don't know. And Digital Platinum Music Inc. in Melbourne, Florida. Hello to you. Strictly Clean Pressure Washing. Hey, payday $6,000. Capital One 30-day pay American Express $5,000. I like that. So pay. I think it's a pay 6-1. I love it. I need all you say. Okay, good. Well, I'm on the right track. Okay, plus you also get big rewards. Look, this is the interesting thing, and this still baffles me with the business owners do this. I don't understand it. Almost every expense we can pay with a credit card, we pay with a credit card. And we pay it off before interest is accrued. So if we think about this, I get an expense, I have multiple options. I could write a check, I could use my debit card, I could use ACH, or I could use a business credit card. Well, in almost all of our cases, we use business credit cards for a reason, rewards, because we get whatever rewards it is. We get cash back rewards. So let's say, for example, that I go buy office supplies. Well, I'm getting like 5% cash back on every single thing I'm buying. So that means I get huge discounts, or I literally physically get cash back. I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of extra dollars we make just by paying our Facebook ad cost on an American Express card. And guess what? We pay off the American Express card before any interest is accrued. So if I have multiple ways to pay something, why would I not pay with the method that gives me a bunch of extra cash back? A lot of business credit cards give you travel rewards. I literally have friends that actually pay for all their vacations, all their business travel just from their rewards points that they earn by normal spending. So because of this, if you can go on vacations, if you could travel and you could speak about what you do worldwide, and your plane fare and your hotel fare is covered, and you could, again, have a luxury vacation for 2 weeks for your family, and all the expenses are covered just because of your normal spending, why wouldn't you do that? And the other benefit is that what you can choose cards that even work where you get cash back in areas you most need it. So if it's groceries, if it's fuel, if it's office supplies. You can literally get cards that give you cash back in those areas or higher rewards or discounts in those areas. So it's cheaper for you to use that card to buy the stuff you want to buy. And in a lot of cases, you're getting cash back. You're getting rewards that you can then use to fund all aspects of your business or even for much needed vacation, for example. So again, these rewards alone are the biggest reason I think somebody should use business credit cards. Because if you're using an ACH, a debit, if you're using a check, you don't get any of those rewards. The money's just gone. You don't have any flexibility. You don't have any option of using that cash for something else if you need to. You get no rewards. You get no cash back. There's no benefit, but using business credit cards, these rewards provide substantial benefit. One more reason you really want to consider it. And some of the actual benefits that you have is 0% interest. Well, I mean, that's great. If I could borrow money at 0%, I always do that. I mean, that's the way I am with anything. If there's anything I can get that I can finance it at 0%, you better guarantee that I am using that to get financing. So there's no reason for me not to take the financing. I don't even understand why I wouldn't take the financing. Here's why. If I have 12 months to pay back a debt and it costs me 0% to have 12 months or pay it now, then I'm always going to take the 12 months. I'm going to keep the money and use the money to make more money with it. And that way, it's way more beneficial than putting the money down to buy whatever it was to begin with. So again, if I'm able to buy something at 0% and finance it, I'm always going to do that because then I can take the money that I would have used to pay it off and I can actually invest in other things that give me a higher rate of return. It's how you better multiply money. Plus, again, the cash back offers we talked about, the travel rewards, airline, car rentals, hotel, rewards points on specific purchases. All of these are just huge benefits when it comes to these kind of rewards. Okay. And Juan says, I have a side hustle planning to make an LLC soon. It's still probable to get business credit cards as a sole proprietor than switch to LLC. You can, but you're going to have a way better success, way higher amount of limits if you just get the LLC. And by the way, depending on the state you're in, it's pretty cheap. California might be expensive, but any other state like Florida, I could switch from a sole prop to an LLC and set up the entire entity for $70. It cost me $70. So you're going to have a much better chance, Juan, if you're using an LLC, something to consider, but you can still do it as a sole proprietor, but you're going to get higher approval amounts and more approvals if you're doing it under an LLC. Great question, by the way. So you also want to access business credit cards without a guarantee. It's a huge benefit. What that means is it means you're not personally liable for your business debts. Now, I'll give you an example. I signed a guarantee for a Bank of America account way back when in 2008. Mortgage crisis occurred, business goes under. And then what happened was Bank of America literally took every dime of money from my personal accounts. Thousands and thousands of dollars that I had that I needed to survive was all wiped out and gone overnight because I guaranteed the credit card that I was actually using. So again, business credit, they couldn't have done that. If I would have got the same Bank of America credit card without a guarantee because I built my business credit, all my personal assets would have been safe. They couldn't have come in and been able to actually pursue me for any of my personal assets, let alone wipe out my personal accounts. Look, it's a real thing that banks can come in and will take all the money you have from your personal assets. I've had it happen, and it's a scary thing. They took money that wasn't even there to take. And what I mean by that is you have a checking account for a reason. You're writing checks. At that time, way more common than what it is now where you've got online bill pay to cover everything. So I have all these outstanding checks that bounce. Now I went from having money in the account to negative thousands of dollars. That's really what happens when you personally guarantee credit cards and things go wrong. So you want to limit personal guarantees as much as you possibly can. And you want to strategically use them. There's some business credit cards that you might want to use them for. There's loans and credit lines you might want to use them for. But most business credit, 95% of it, you do not need to provide personal guarantees, and it removes your liability. So now not only are you able to come in and get the money that you need, but you're able to come in and get the money you need without being personally liable for it. Now, how can you get like 5 of these with one application? Well, let me show you that right now as well. And hey, here in Florida, thanks for coming in. I appreciate that, Luis. Would this work even for an S Corp? Yes, it works for any entity type. So business credit cards that I'm showing you today work for any entity type. The one entity you want to avoid is exactly what Juan's asking about, being a sole prop. You want to really try to avoid a sole prop. If you're any other entity, you're going to have really good success, and this can work for every entity. But you really want to try to avoid sole proprietors just because lenders and credit issuers don't really like sole proprietorships. As sole prop as somebody experimenting with the business idea. So the general financial industry just does not look highly on soul props, which is really why it's so important for you to come in and choose an entity like an LLC or corporation. So credit line hybrid, this is an easy way to get 5 of these cards in one shot. You can get up to $150,000 in funding. How much you get depends on your existing credit limits now. You get 0% for up to 18 months. It's no doc. There's no income verification, no P&Ls, no balance sheets, no tax returns, no bank statements required as well. There's no application fee. And you can even use a credit partner if you don't have good credit. So for credit line hybrid, all you need to get approved is a good credit score, a good credit profile, about a 680, 700 FICO score or higher across all 3 of your bureaus. If you don't have that, you can rely on a credit partner as well. About half our clients do. They go to mom, dad, family member, friend to be able to do this. Matter of fact, I just had lunch with somebody that was coming to me for advice. He said, hey, I want you to sit on my board, and I also need help raising capital. Where do I go? I'm trying to get $100,000 to get this app off the ground, and I'm flying to California. I'm meeting with angel investors. I'm meeting with venture capitalists. I'm like, have you ever heard of credit line hybrid? Like, what about this? Your credit's good. You got people around you that have good credit. They can easily sign, or you could sign as a guarantor, and you're able to get the money that you need without doing any of these trips and raising any capital. Then you can actually get the app built, deploy it, prove concept, then you can easily raise the money you need. He's like, well, that's why I had lunch with you. Problem solved, right? So credit line hybrid is a great way to be able to get the money you need at 0%. You can take the cash out. You can rely on a credit partner to get what you need. And what's happening is the funding source is strategically going out and applying for multiple different accounts at the same time. So one application doesn't adversely affect your ability to get others. So again, credit line hybrid is a fantastic way for you to get a handful of these accounts, even as a startup, even in a high-risk industry, to be able to fund your business. And if you want to get approved, you can easily go to creditsuite.com/CLH, talk to our funding team about this and other kind of financing as well. You also go to creditsuite.com/consult, because there you get 3 things. First of all, we'll talk to you about tips and tactics to build your business credit. We'll do a fundability assessment to help set you up better for funding, fix the things that lenders and credit issuers will usually deny you for. And then we'll tell you all of the financing you can get right now. Look, a lot of business owners contact us, don't even think they can get a loan, and we end up getting 3, 4 different kind of financing. So if you want to know how to build your business credit, improve your fundability, and all the money you can get now, schedule a consult. creditsuite.com/consult. We'll talk to you more. And you can also give us a call, and I'll number up shortly as well. Also, don't forget that if you want to get approved for financing, on that financing assessment, we can talk to you about that. We never charge you fees. We'll help you get loans all the way through the stages of your business, from startup all the way to a point where you're getting SBA loans for major expansion. You never need to go to lenders to look for funding sources again. Like, we have over 1,000 funding sources where we can do all that work for you, and it costs you $0 for us to help you with funding. We don't charge front-end fees. We don't charge back-end fees. Okay, so we will help you with all aspects of getting financing without being charged. And we have so much power with the lenders because we fund so much that we get better pricing than you would anyways, and we pass that pricing on to you. Pretty cool. So get in touch with us. We'd love to talk to you more about that. Don't forget, businessloanbrokerchallenge.com, 100% free event, soup to nuts, everything you need to know to successfully become a business loan broker, how to set up your business, how to brand your business, how to offer business credit as a service, how to offer financing as a service. We have the lenders on that you can actually get signed up with to be able to do deals, how to process deals. We have the industry experts, the biggest influencers in the loan broker industry are all going to be there to be able to reveal their secrets of the trade, to be able to help you become super successful very quickly. 1 week, 100% free. Go to businessloanbrokerchallenge.com to register. And if you got value from this training, check out creditsuite.com/toolbox. You get about $400 worth of free goodies from us that help you get money and credit for your business 100% free. All you have to do is just share our next live stream. So if you want this cool gift basket of goodies, all you have to do is go to creditsuite.com/toolbox to get the details. Here's our number as well. Feel free to give us a call for that free finance assessment to talk to you about all the money that you're able to qualify for right now. And let me go ahead and check. And Billy says, credit line hybrid is personal credit or not business credit card. So per credit line hybrid is you're going to use personal credit quality to qualify. But a lot of the credit lines you get, the credit cards, report to the business credit reporting agencies. So the simple answer, Billy, is you have a choice. You'll actually get an approval with 2 different amounts. The first says, if you want business and personal cards, you'll get this much in funding. Or if you just want business reported cards, you'll get this much in funding. So you can choose. Some clients take max funding and they don't mind if some of them are on the personal credit. They only use those as last resort. And some people say, I only want cards that are reported by business credit reports, and they get those. The nice thing is your pre-approval, you'll get in about 24 hours, oftentimes same day, and it will give you the option so you can decide which one of those you actually want to do. So make sure you give us a call for your free consult, 877-600-2487. Go to the top right of our page, creditsuite.com, and also make sure that you follow along. Follow us on our social media pages as well. We have a brand new website. You should check it out. It just went live last week, and I mean, it has a ton of information that will help you get money for your business. So make sure you check it out at creditsuite.com. Thank you very much for tuning in. I look forward to talking to you on our next training. No, I'm not. I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be here for our next training. You know why? I'm going to be at businessloanbrokerchallenge.com. Loan Broker Challenge actually takes place next week, Monday through Friday. I will be hosting this live event. So as a result, I will not be here next week to actually, don't worry, I'm not leaving you alone. We will have probably Keith in my place here with our team that'll be talking to you about the next training topics for next week, helping you get money for your business. And this is where I'm going to be, Business Loan Broker Challenge. So make sure you join me at businessloanbrokerchallenge.com. And I look forward to seeing you next week as you learn everything you need to know to offer business credit and financing as a service, whether it be for a primary or secondary income stream. It's going to be pretty cool. So make sure you join us, businessloanbrokerchallenge.com. Thanks for tuning in.